I thought Lost Ark was your first high school love, but it rejected you and now you're too scared. Oh, I remember her. My first love. Being rejected. First time I ever punched a guy as well. I mean, the story's not connected with her, but there was... Oh, it's a triangle, guys. Let me tell you the story. The first time I ever punched a guy. It was a real story as well. When I was in school, primary school, I was in love, madly in love with a girl. You know, let's call her Abigail, because that was her name. And there was another boy who was a year older than me, and he was tough and strong and powerful. Let's call him James, because that was his name. And one day, James was talking to Abigail, and I didn't like that. Because when you're in primary school and you're dating someone, what it means is you walk up to them and say, hey, do you want to go out with me? And they say yes, and then you never talk to each other again. You never interact. You never do anything. You're just connected via the invisible medium of dating. And if anyone else ever talks to your girlfriend, despite the fact that you don't even talk to your girlfriend, that's a violation of the rules. But I knew James was bigger than me. I can't do anything. I can't hurt him. I'm just a small, weak nerd. So after school, there was a thing called After School Club, where if your parents were working late, you pretty much just chilled out in one of those weird mobile classroom things and just waited for your parents to come pick you up. And my mum and dad were working late at the time, so I used to chill there quite often. It was a regular standard thing. I didn't mind it. I got some time alone, got to read some books. I had a Game Boy Advance. I know. I was one of the lucky kids. Game Boy Advance. And you know what I was playing on my Game Boy Advance? I was playing Legend of Zelda, A Link to the Past. Now, this is a very specific part of the story, because the Game Boy Advance was designed for smaller cartridges. But the regular Game Boy cartridges were quite big. So if you put a regular cartridge in a Game Boy Advance, it would still play it, but it would kind of stick out the back a little bit. It wouldn't be smooth with the actual handheld console. So I was there. Link to the Past, by the way, amazing game. I was there playing A Link to the Past, and I'd just beaten one of the bosses. Can't remember which one, but I'd beaten one of them. And James walks into the room I'm in, and I'm in the room alone, just leaving everyone alone. And James walks up, and without missing a beat, he puts his hand on the cartridge and pulls it out. And I hadn't saved. So, young, 9-year-old, skinny, dweeby me just calmly turns off the Game Boy Advance, puts it down, stands up, and I just punched James in the face really hard. That was the first time I ever hit someone in anger. Like, I didn't even process it. I just thought, you fucked up A Link to the Past. You get a punch for that. Just smacked him in the face. And he ran out of the room crying. And he didn't go and tell the teachers, because what's he going to say? Miss, the nerdy kid that I've been bullying just punched me. He's not going to say that at all. Now, I like to think that Abigail found out about that. And I like to think that she loved me even more. But what actually happened was, she stopped talking to me. And then I think she ended up dating James. But I stand by my convictions of doing the right thing. If someone pulls out a Game Boy Advance game from the Game Boy while you're playing it, you can punch them. There we go. That's what I'll say. That's exactly what I'll be okay with that. I think who's the real winner? Because James may have ended up with the girl, but I finished A Link to the Past. And I think that is more valuable in my life than, disregard females. Acquire it was instruments in A Link to the Past, wasn't it? No, that's Link's Awakening. Link's Awakening is where you have the windfish and you have to wake it back up on the island. What were you collecting in A Link to the Past? It was weapons, things, rupees, stuff. Acquire 8 items in Legend of Zelda games. There we go. Disregard females, acquire the Triforce. That's what we need to do. That is a story from me to you for how you successfully deal with school bullies. So, if you're being bullied in school, go and buy a Game Boy Advance. That's what I mean.